Rochester Steel is 37-year-old company. It was founded by my dad and his partners, my uncles, two of his partners. So it's a 37-year-old company, and we are manufacturers of stainless steel utensils. So we manufacture almost everything that is required in a kitchen when it comes to utensils, cookware, almost everything in stainless steel, and also some allied products as well. Talking about myself, I am a chartered accountant, and I am into business since more than 2 years now. I handle a separate range of a separate production plant which produces premium products in stainless steel itself. It's basically alloyed products which we manufacture. So that's about myself. Yeah. So these are basically triple layered products, which is called triply product. They are basically it's an alloy. It has stainless steel, it has aluminium, and again stainless steel. So the middle layer is of aluminium. The reason for taking aluminium as a middle layer is that it is a good conductor of heat. So it distributes heat throughout the utensil, and but at the same time, when food comes into contact with aluminium, it affects the health if we consume that food. So in order to prevent that, we have an upper layer of stainless steel. Now this layer that we add is also called as surgical steel. So it's of that level of steel which is good for health. Basically, it does not have any hazardous emission out of it, and it is very friendly for cooking. And when we speak about the bottom layer, it is again steel. It is magnetic steel. Why magnetic steel? Because it should be compatible to induction as well. So thereby, this is basically a holistic product wherein we can use it on gas stove, on induction. It is dishwasher safe. We can also use on advanced cooking technologies like halogen, ceramic cooking, everything. So if we speak about quality standards, I think we have advanced manufacturing technologies. So now, whenever technology comes into picture, not only is our younger generation interested, but also our founders like my dad and my uncles. Everyone is very supportive and very keen towards adding new technology in the entire production system or throughout the entire organization. So that is something which enables us to have advanced manufacturing technology, which increases the efficiency and also increases the quality of the goods that we produce. Apart from that, we also have a 3-stage QC. So like usually quality is just checked at the end of the production. Like once the entire goods are out, they are then checked for quality, and then defects, if any, are bifurcated or segregated. But then we have it at each level of production. So we have employees designated for that work only, so that there's full focus on quality. So, for example, on whenever there's the first stage of production happening, we have employees designated to check if there's any deviation from the standard quality there itself. So, if there's anything over there, we can take corrective measures there and there itself. So, it doesn't go through the entire production, despite of it being below the standard quality that is required. So, we have the system at each stage, thereby enabling the best outcome of the entire production system. So when it comes to sustainability, I think we have made huge investments in green technologies. Like for example, we have in the entire factory shed, we have installed solar panels. Now this is something that is tried and tested by many, but still many are still afraid of the heavy cost that it has. Now, I would recommend everyone to go in for this technology, no matter how small or big the factory or the premises you are working in is. Not only this industry, but anywhere. Because if we look at the cost, it's probably very high. Yeah, so generally people skip on installing it because of the high cost. But if we don't look at it from that point of view, but rather if we say take a loan, and then if we take this same, if we make this investment out of the amount that comes from the loan, and then if we calculate the EMI and then we check the electricity bill that we are usually paying, and then we compare it with the EMI and other charges that we pay, I feel that it will still give benefit from day one itself. So I would highly recommend others also to go in for this technology. And after a period of time, when the entire cost is met, after that, the cost of electricity is almost negligible if we install solar panels. So that is something that does good for the environment and the organization as well. Apart from that, when we speak about sustainability, I think the scrap that is produced after production is also steel. So when we speak about scrap, the scrap is also bits and pieces of steel only. So if we are done with the production, whatever scrap is left, we further give it to someone who makes smaller parts out of the scrap that is generated from us. And after he is done with generating whatever, producing whatever he wants to, he then sells it further to someone who melts it and then reuses it into making the slabs again. So in this entire chain, if we go to see, there's practically nothing that is emitted back into the environment. So there's practically nothing that is wasted. There's nothing that is emitted out of the environment into the environment, and thereby it causes no pollution at all. And there's no pollution that is caused in the entire chain system, not only in our organization but also to places where the scrap goes to. So if we speak about current trends, I think nowadays customers are definitely focusing more on health and safety. And I think they should focus on health and safety because that is the need of the hour, especially with the increasing number of, cancer disease or any other disease that we are hearing about right now, and the depleting age of people. I think people are becoming more aware about health and safety. And when we speak about health, I think the thing that comes to our mind is food. And food is ultimately prepared in utensils, which is in most of our houses, it's made in steel utensils. So this is something that is concerning right now. And how do we tackle this is, I think, because as I said earlier, so we have this premium range of product that has come in right now, which gives the goodness of aluminium, but at the same time, because it's hazardous, there's also a steel layer over it, which is of premium quality, which ensures that there's nothing that is hazardous that goes into our stomach. Also, apart from that, the other products that we produce, we ensure that the raw material that we are using is of adequate quality and is its formability, its durability is intact. So the raw materials that we use, we ensure that the components that are used for making that raw material is also of adequate quality, such that it does not in no way it should affect the health of anyone who uses it. Not only steel but also other products like non-stick, hard anodized. So in those cases also, we ensure that the coating passes through certain tests, has certain certificates. Only then we use that kind of materials to produce our goods. So that is one thing. Another thing that consumers usually focus on right now is durability. Like everyone wants to make this investment only once in at least 30 years, because this is not something that you go on buying every month or every year also. In some cases it's passed on through generations as well. So durability is indeed very essential point when consumers make their choices. So in order to make our products durable, we ensure that the raw material that we use, the components have adequate amount of nickel, have adequate amount of chromium, which thereby it gives that much of strength. Adequate amount of carbon gives that much of strength. At the same time, it's not brittle. It's not it's corrosion free. So we make sure that all of these aspects fall in line, so that the product, the outcome that comes through is of adequate quality and is durable. About challenges, I think in the entire stainless steel industry, one of the major challenges is raw material price fluctuation. Now, because in the industry that we are into, the major component of the cost, so if we go through the entire cost structure, the major component of cost is the cost of raw material. Like all other costs are at one side, but the cost of raw material supersedes everything. So and also the raw material, primarily being metal, is prone to deviate, and the price of the raw material is prone to fluctuate every now and then. And especially as we all know, like in today's world, it's almost every second day there's some changes, there's some news going on which ultimately affects the price of metals. And thereby it affects the cost of the raw material. So now this is one of the major challenge, and how we tackle it is that so see, as I said, my father and my uncles are there into this business since more than 37 years now, and that so they have this experience, they have this sense of projection that what will be the changes, what could affect what, how will it affect the market, because most of these changes are due to external forces, it's not in our hands. Most of them it's are due to external forces, so they can predict it well, which is further combined with the younger generations that sense of analysis, or maybe strategic decision making, or that like or formulating strategies in such a way that sound decisions are made and we can take proactive steps rather than taking steps later on. We rather make some analysis, some projections, like we conduct meetings, we make some projections earlier so that we are able to predict it well in advance, and thereby reducing our cost, which we can then pass it on to our customers. Yes, so procurement of raw material is of course a big thing, is a main thing in any business. Now, when we come about when we speak about government policies, I think now with an increasing motive of government to support MSME, and there are many MSME which are into this industry, like the entire industry. If we see, I think majority of the units are MSME. So yes. Now government has come up with many schemes for MSME, which most of us are not even aware of. So it's easy to get hold of those schemes. We can easily go through the website and we can come to know about those schemes. So in a way, MSMEs are very highly benefited through the schemes that the government has come up with. One of the recent rule amendment in the rule that it has come up with regards to the payment in 15 to 45 days, even that has in a way increased the liquidity in the market, increased the flow of funds in the market. So that is something. Of course, it has both positive and negative sides as well. Sometimes it also affects the demand. It also affects the the quantum. It can lead to those changes as well. But yeah, most of the times government is quite supportive to manufacturing industries, and the laws and the rules amendments that government comes up with usually right now is more inclined and is more favorable towards our industry. Yeah, so I spoke about one of our premium products. We also have many more premium products. Like for example, we have induction bottom, which is also called as sandwich bottomed utensils. So wherein if you do not want to buy a heavier utensil for cooking, you also have induction bottom utensils, wherein the entire product is made up of steel, but it has a layer, it has a base which is basically a cladded base. It has steel, aluminum and steel, but only at the base, and a thick base. So that also helps in cooking. It helps in preventing food to be overcooked or to be burnt. At the same time, it also makes it compatible to induction. Induction cooking is also possible in that way. Apart from that, other products that we have are all products that are made out of hard anodized products, non-stick products. We also have steel products with a copper base. We also have hybrid products, which is basically a mixture of tri-ply and non-stick. We have a few products in that range right now. So we are planning to come up with more products in that hybrid category that I spoke about right now. It's basically it is basically a mixture of steel, aluminium, non-stick, and a lot more, with innovative technology, innovative designing, which helps in easier cooking. Yeah, so the last point that I spoke about right now is stainless steel with non-stick. We also have normal non-stick products which does not have stainless steel, but this is something which is innovative, which is not that popular or not that famous right now, but I hope we are able to bring it out through the entire industry and bring about this change in customers' preferences as well. So if we speak about our long-term vision or the goal that we have, so right now we are delivering pan India and also outside India. So in India, we've almost touched each and every city or small village that is accessible from here. So in India, I think we're well spread. We are well spread right now. And out of India, if we go to, we are delivering to more than 16 countries right now, 16, 17 odd countries right now. So we are looking forward to increasing this number to probably 40 or 50 in a couple of years to come, so that we can have a better global presence, thereby making India proud globally. No, we make utensils varying from the sizes of the utensils that we make is varying from as small as something that is compatible for nuclear family to as huge as something that is compatible to huge hotel chains. So we are basically not only the sizes but also the variants that we have. We have products which are focused towards cooking, like house cooking products that are used at our house, and also products which are focused towards hotel industry. We have distributors all over India. We also have some. It goes outside India, which is directly exported by us. We also have exports happening through other customers, like the customers buy it from us and then they export it, or we have agents to export it for us. In India, if we speak about, we have in majority of the cases we have distributors for longer distances, and we also have a showroom and a warehouse in the main market, which is in Mumbai. So all the retailers can directly purchase it from there. Also across Maharashtra, we have facilities of we have daily tempo facilities, so you can get everything in time. So throughout Maharashtra, we can provide in usually 1 or 2 days. So that entire system of supply is well framed right now and is going good. We hope to keep it like this for years to come. Yeah, it is steady to some extent, but of course, because it's still not that structured, is what I feel. So basically, because I've worked like for few years, I've worked for other companies in terms from the audit point of view, because as I said, I'm a CA, so I've seen it from the audit point of view, but of course we understand the businesses as well. So when I've seen other industries, I feel that our industry is really doing great right now, but there's a lot of structuring that is still required right now to have an efficient flow throughout. There's still there are many limitations to procurement right now, because if technology is not used to the most optimum level as of now, is what I feel. I think there's a lot that can be automated, there's a lot that can be regulated through automation, and there's a lot that can be changed. I think we all should work together and make a better system for procurement in general. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me, and it was indeed a pleasure, indeed a good time, this conversation.